Hey guys, I'm David. Julie asked me to make a brief video to try to help you guys in your discussion for your support group. I grew up in Olena, just south of Norwalk, and went to school at Western Reserve High School. Graduated in 2000. I had some difficulties during my childhood, and then wanted to go into ministry. And as you know, it's really expensive, especially to go to like a Christian, private Christian school. So, and I always went on a principle of like not taking on debt. So I went to school in Hungary. There was a school there that I had heard of, and it was just $4,000 a year. I was working, if you know, the Chef's Garden there in Huron. I was building greenhouses for them and doing different maintenance stuff. And then at night I would milk cows, saved up money, went to Hungary to study. While in Hungary, so Hungary's in Eastern Europe, used to be communist, traveled to Romania, a neighboring country, and during Christmas break, and took the train. When I got off the train, in the train station in Bucharest, there were street children. These are homeless kids, had run away from home, and had run away from orphanages, either orphanages or usually like a rural village house where there's like a lot of abuse, and were living homeless in Bucharest. And my friends were like, come on, let's get going. And I was like, there's these homeless kids, like we have to do something. And they're like, there's nothing to be done, they're just homeless. And I was like, well, let's call the cops. And they were like, well, the cops are right over there. So after finishing my studies, and during my time there in Romania, I met the woman that now is my wife, Felicia. And rather than going into the pastorate, which had been my plan, I wanted to work with kids, especially street kids in Bucharest. So we did that for about 5 years. And then after doing that, I wanted to make a bigger impact. So we were meeting with kids, homeless kids, and learned a lot of through experience, not even necessarily reading or anything, but just living life with these kids. Wanted to make a bigger difference, so then we reoriented our organization and got it qualified to work in adoption, which was not easy, as you can probably imagine. Adoption agencies are a thing like in America, but like here, it's really not. So there are very few organizations with the qualifications that we have. Now for the past 8 years, we handle the adoption training for the county where we are. We're in a county called Brașov County. We're in a city that's about the size of Akron, and handling all the adoption training. We do it here in this room. And then we do a lot of family counseling here in this room. So families come in here for counseling. Some of the things that we deal with here. Well, the biggest thing is infertility. The folks that are coming to adopt, these are folks that are coming because they're having biological problems having children. In adoption in general, an illustration that we always make is that it's like an iceberg. So adoption, foster care, all pretty well related. I understand that in your group, you also have people that are, it's a family situation where you're taking care of extended family and things. And it's really an iceberg. So, the thing with an iceberg is you can see a little bit on the surface, but there's always more underneath, right? And all of the emotional stuff is here underneath. And emotional, fundamental. What I mean by that is like the core of what it means to be a person. That's all under the surface. Over the surface, what do we see? We see behaviors, or we just see things really limited. I've learned working in adoption here for 8 years that, like, oftentimes kids that have a physical disability, oftentimes it's easier to be patient with them and kind, but it can be harder when a child, physically looks totally normal, but there are weird things going on in their minds and their hearts, and their emotions are just all over the place, and behaviors can be bizarre. Behaviors can be sexualized. Behaviors can be violent, and these are hard things to deal with in a kid. And you guys know that. You guys see that. It's terrible when parenting is easier when a child still has their innocence, when a child still doesn't know how unstable and how cruel the world can be. But these kids have already seen what the world can be, and they're like always expecting, waiting for something else bad to happen, and always testing that safety to try to have it confirmed to them that they are safe, that there are rules, and that can really wear on people. Another thing that's under the surface is not just the trauma that the kids face, but even our own trauma as adults. So rough things that we went through when we were a kid, and maybe things that we learned to just shut down our anger. We learned to just hold it in. So you need to learn to just hold it in. Things like that. Yeah. Again, things that are under the surface. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of bouncing around and being abstract with you. But one other thing that I could, that would probably be valuable to bring up. So some of the kids after adoption, we have support groups for kids post-adoption. And in one of the groups, we had them make these. These are all representations of their birth moms. So all the kids did this on their own. They weren't working together. And then they were asked to put 2 questions to address. And they all put the same questions. And, we could talk, we could do PowerPoints, we could talk theories, but again, like I said, this is like at the core of what you guys are dealing with. And it's hard because it's not something that you can just solve with, well, what do I say to a kid? Or what do I do with a kid? It's deeper than that. So these questions are, Mama, de ce mai părăsit, which means, Mom, why did you leave me? Mama, why did you give me to the house, to the orphanage, for someone else to take care of me? Mama, why did you abandon me? Why did you hide when the police looked for you? That's complicated. The adoptive mother told her that the police had looked for her mom, but her mom was hiding from the police. Didn't have that information, but that's what she said. So now this girl lives her life knowing that when the police wanted to put them together, that her mom hid from the police. So that's kind of a harmful story for a child to have in their head, especially when you don't know if it's true. But when the adoptive mom said it, it probably wasn't that big of a deal to her. Anyways. Mama, why did you leave? Mama, where are you now? Mama, why did you abandon me? Mama, why didn't you tell me anything about my father? Mama, why did you give me to the center? Mama, I still love you, even if you gave me to the center, and I always think of you. Mama, why don't you come to visit from time to time? Mama, do you love or have you ever loved one in your life? Mama, what did I do that you gave me away? Mama, why did you leave me? What did I do wrong that you didn't keep me? Did you love me? Or have you loved me without a motive? So that's really at the core, isn't it? All of those kids, they're all the same question, the same pain that's at the root. Mom, why did you abandon me? Why did you abandon me? Why aren't you doing everything possible for us to be together? And that really, it cuts at the core of how they see themselves as people. And we can talk theories, or we can talk about addressing behaviors and things to do, but that's really the core. And it's really a place where we as outsiders are very limited in what effect that we can have for that. But I hope that you can give the kids kind of room to find their way through that pain. So yeah, please be in touch anytime. We can use your support. This place is running off donations. We thank you to your church for everything that you guys have done for us. And yeah, have a great Saturday. Have a great time together, and hope to hear from you. Be in touch.